Let me tell you a story, true story. The first time I met Josh was at the end of my shift at our local homeless shelter. Of the men in the shelter, Josh was the most eager to work and to do chores. But I really didn't know him. And since I wasn't in a hurry, when I came out and saw him sitting there, I decided to sit with him and talk. I learned that Josh has a kind of epilepsy, a severe type that had badly damaged his brain. He said, that's why my speech sounds like I have cerebral palsy and why I walk with this cane and why it's hard for me to get much more than a part-time job. I have seizures, you know. Well, I asked, what's happened to make you homeless? Well, he said, until recently, I've been living with my mom. With her having cancer, I've been taking care of her the last couple of years. And we lived on her Social Security. And when she died a couple of months ago, that was it. Social Security was gone, no money, no apartment. Well, do you have a family? I asked. Some, not many. They live in New York. And so, aren't they helping you? Some? No, they don't care. Actually, my sister says my mom would have lived longer if I would have taken better care of her. I don't know what I could have done. We talked about his life. We talked about his frustrations. By then I needed to go, so I got up and he said, thank you. Thank you, I said. I haven't done anything for you, or not yet, for listening. This is the first time I've told my story here at the shelter of why I'm like this. Most of us out here have no one who listens. We're kind of invisible, you know. People don't care. Josh is a homeless man, but he never begs for money. But he loves to work. So I hired him to help me rebuild my fence. Pretty big job. And then over one of our lunches, he listened to me share the gospel. What's important to know about Josh is he's Jewish. So I took him through the several types of Christ noted in the Old Testament and how each of them describes a blood sacrifice for the sins of the people. And he got what I was trying to say. He had been to churches. And he admits that there are Messianic Jews, but confessed that it's hard for him to think about leaving Judaism. Josh did not come to Christ that day, but the story isn't over, and it's just one of a dozen or more stories I could tell you from this new ministry that we have called Mission Agape, a ministry dedicated to bring the richness of the gospel to lives of homeless and former incarcerated men. I say this is a new ministry because I came to this work after serving 34 years as a missionary and a pastor to students at the University of Illinois. I mean, it was a great work, really great. But things change. Sometime in my early 60s, I found it a little more difficult to connect with students. And I knew that it was time to go. It was right about that time that I began volunteering at our local homeless shelter. They were housing 40 to 60 men every night, drug addicts, criminals, ex-cons, and the mentally ill. The atmosphere felt loud, chaotic, and exciting. There was an energy in that place that drew me. And I wanted to volunteer more and more. And as I did that, I came to know dozens of men like Josh and to hear their stories. And this may sound a little dramatic, but one night, I can't remember when this was, I had an experience like that of John Wesley. Remember that story where his heart was strangely warmed?
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling my heart that way, being among them. Now, my wife and I have this vision of seeing broken men restored and dead men coming back to life. We want to see men housed, employed in Christ and in church. We help them recover personal documents. We help them find jobs, manage their money, and secure housing. I'm not going to lie. These are hard men to reach.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, and I don't know how after 34 years with college students, I feel almost at home with these men. And that's why I feel called to these guys. They are my unreached people group. And this morning, I'm asking you to help me help them by contributing to the Agape Fund 2022. Thank you.